We will now have testimonials from our coalition members in English, Spanish, and Arabic to share why they signed the manifesto and why they are members. Ahora vamos a tener testimonios de nuestros miembros de la coalición en los idiomas de inglés, árabe y español. So now I turn it over to Francisco. Oh.
Francisco, you're all set.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's a real pleasure to be part of this coalition. Should I change to Spanish, right? Or okay. Bueno, es un placer participar de esta coalición. Creo que es fundamental en estos momentos de gravísima pandemia que exista esta coalición a nivel internacional para levantar las conciencias y las inquietudes de toda la gente que pensamos que es posible y necesario, fundamental, un mundo mejor, un mundo que piense más allá del beneficio económico, un mundo que piense en las personas y que ponga las prioridades en la salud, porque si algo ha quedado claro después de esta pandemia es que las privatizaciones médicas y el interés por el interés deja desprotegidos cuando ocurre una catástrofe como esta. Además, quisiera añadir que esta puede ser la última o de las últimas oportunidades para esta alianza internacional. Creo que la naturaleza nos está mandando señales. Somos conscientes también, y además hay estudios científicos que lo corroboran, que esta pandemia se ha visto propiciada en parte por esa devastación de la naturaleza, por esa destrucción de los espacios naturales que se están produciendo. El cambio climático no va a desaparecer, sino que es una amenaza también inminente y que está ahí. Así que probablemente, como decía, now or never, ¿no? Ahora o nunca, y es tiempo de actuar porque la madre naturaleza nos está dando un mensaje muy claro en ese sentido. Esto no es broma, este virus volverá, desgraciadamente, se prevé que vuelva, si no mutado con otras variedades, y tenemos que estar preparados porque esta crisis ya va a dejar un reguero de muerte y de destrucción enorme, pero una segunda sería mucho peor, muy difícil y muy dura para sobre todo las poblaciones más vulnerables. Así que es tiempo de la acción y tiempo de la alianza internacional. Gracias.
Thank you, Francisco. Gracias, Francisco. And now we will turn it over to Randa.
Hi, I'm going to start in Arabic and then I'll repeat what I said in Arabic in English. مرحبا، أنا اسمي رندا سرحان، أنا أستاذة علم الاجتماع، أصلي من فلسطين، خلقت بلبنان وربيت بأكثر من بلد. بعتبر حالي من كل مكان ولا مكان، وهيك ليش برتاح حوالي مجموعات مختلطة. لما تعرفت على هاي المجموعة بالذات حسيت إني لقيت ناس بهمهم الإنسانية ولكل الناس والعدالة لكل الناس بالعالم. مش مهم اللغة اللي نحكيها ولا الأعمار ولا الجنسية ولا الدين ولا وين ساكنين. المهم لهاي المجموعة بقلبهم إنه العدالة للكل وبيحترموا الكل. وأنا برحب بكم وبرحب فيكم لكلكم أنتوا تتضامنوا معنا. شكراً. Hi, my name is Randa Serhan, and I'm a sociologist and an academic and a third-generation Palestinian refugee who was born in Lebanon, and whose family left shortly after the start of the Civil War. I was raised in several countries, which meant that I belonged everywhere and nowhere, and I'm most comfortable in spaces that lack boundaries and include a diversity of identities. Which brings me to this group. I found links and a passionate desire for social justice and humanity within every single person in this coalition that defied barriers of language, circumstance, and experience with activism. The mutual respect for one another and for the marginalized peoples of the world made this group stand out to me over other initiatives past and present. And this is really my first true initiative and true experience, and it's been absolutely amazing. I hope everybody listening will consider joining our efforts as we grow into a truly global movement. Thank you.
Thank you, Randa. I will now welcome Ron to share with us why he signed the manifesto. Hi, Ron, we can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I joined the coalition because its manifesto and multinational roots are what I see as necessary for the human race to thrive. The manifesto recognizes all our fundamental needs for survival, providing opportunities to realize a fulfilling life for self and in commonwealth. It combines the morality and vital need to end all warring and planet pollution, embracing us all as worthy beings, and does so without dogma or adherence to any specific ideology or political party as a collective. I'm Ron Ridenour. I was born in the US military empire, and I've been fighting for 6 decades in many lands for what the manifesto stands for. And most of what I believe in is in my big book called The Russian Peace Threat, Pentagon on Alert. Ahora en español. Me uní a la coalición de solidaridad porque su manifesto y sus raíces multinacionales son lo que considero necesario para que la raza humana prospera. El manifesto reconoce todas nuestras necesidades fundamentales de supervivencia, brindando oportunidades para realizar una vida plena para uno mismo y en la mancomunidad. Combina la moralidad y la necesidad vital de poner fin a todas las guerras y la contaminación de la planeta, abrazándonos a todos como seres dignos, y lo hace sin dogma ni adhesión a ninguna ideología o partido político específico. Soy Ron Ridenour, nací en el imperio militar de Estados Unidos y estoy luchando 6 décadas con las mismas cosas que quiere el manifesto. Mi libro más importante se llama, en inglés, The Russian Peace Threat, Pentagon on Alert. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Ron. And now turn it over back to Shanae.
Excellent. Well, thank you everyone for sharing your testimonials. I believe, Peter, would you like to share this morning?
Yes, I would. Thank you.
Thank you.
One could almost say that I was born an activist. I was raised in the shadow of the Holocaust. My earliest memories were of my parents and grandparents sitting around the table talking about all the relatives who died in the Holocaust. And I learned very early on that to not confront evil and injustice was a terrible mistake. So I became active in the civil rights movement. I joined the NAACP when I was 12, Congress of Racial Equality when I was 13, became very active in the anti-Vietnam War movement as a student, and since then have been active in fight against social injustice, anti-war movement, anti-nuclear movements. And what this coronavirus made so clear was how obvious the inequities and injustices were. All the things that I believed in were now being played out in front of us. And what we're seeing is the ravages of 4 decades of neoliberal economic policies. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, in individuals, insanity is rare, but in groups, parties, nations, and epochs, it is the rule. And I look now at a world in which the richest 8 people have more wealth than the poorest 3.8 billion people, a world in which we're ravaging our plundering natural resources, a world in which we're destroying the rainforests. And we look at a world that's so insanely militarized. It was Martin Luther King who said that a country that continues year after year to spend more on military defense than on programs of social uplift is approaching spiritual death. Well, as a species, we're not just approaching spiritual death, we're also approaching physical death. And we're confronting 3 existential threats: the pandemics and health crises, the global warming, environmental crisis, and the nuclear crisis. The bull and the atomic scientists put the hands of the doomsday clock at 100 seconds before midnight. And just this week, the United States just pulled out of the Open Skies Treaty. We're destroying the entire architecture of arms control, especially nuclear arms control. So when I see this manifesto and I see the commitment to this conscious international approach to things, it's not about making America great again and Russia great again and China great again. What we have to do is approach things from the standpoint of the human species, because we're confronting crises as a species. What happens to somebody in Wuhan affects people all over the world, and that's becoming more and more evident. So I love the opening line of our manifesto. The COVID-19 crisis has revealed the urgency of changing global structures of inequity and violence. What I like about this is we're not just treating the symptoms. What we're doing is trying to get at the deeper fundamental causes and issues and structures and do it on a planetary basis. So that's why I see this as a very hopeful effort to actually bring people together around the world to solve our common problems as a human species.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you to everyone who shared our testimonials. And again, the testimonials shared today are just a sampling of voices from the coalition.